Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As we all know, Fort McMurray is the oil capital not only for Alberta but of Canada.
Hear, hear.
The operations in and around this area are an integral economic drivers for this province. Unfortunately, companies which operate in the area have been negatively affected by the low oil prices, and the wildfire, which has devastated Fort McMurray, could degrade the situation. To the Honourable Minister of Energy, is there any indication of the extent to which this devastating fire will impact oil sand operations in the Fort McMurray area?
Honourable Minister of Energy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you to the member for the question. As I mentioned previously, it's a little bit premature to speculate right now. Right now, I can tell you, though, that the AER has activated their emergency response centre and is conducting assessments with each of the facilities. And as you may be aware, each facility has an emergency management plan that they have done. And right now, that's where they're at. They're working with the AER and making sure that their workers are taking care of their workers' families. And perhaps next week we'll know more.
First supplemental.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Honourable Minister. Given that our oil sands operator employ thousands of Albertans, and given that in our time of need, they open their camps to residents of Wood Buffalo region displaced by the fire. These companies can be called true corporate citizens. To the Honourable Minister of Energy, how will the government be working with these companies to resume their activities and get the affected Albertans back to work once the fire has been effectively contained?
Minister of Energy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for that important question. Again, I want to personally thank the companies who have just been stellar at stepping up to help, not just the residents, but themselves. It's been very heartwarming as an Albertan. I know my sense of gratitude is shared by everyone here in the House. I understand that the industry operators are currently developing plans to address such question, and everything is so fluid right now, it's hour by hour. And assisting, as I mentioned, the camps where some of the citizens are, there'll be an effort to move those back, move them south when it's safe. And they've been very clear to me that the priority is safety right now.
Second supplemental.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Honourable Minister. Given that the companies which operate in this area have contributed a significant amount of money to the provincial treasury through direct taxation and oil royalties, and given that more than that they are committed community partners who give back to Alberta at every turn in an effort to make our province better. Again, to the Honourable Minister of Energy, with how much these companies have contributed to Alberta, will you extend the olive branch and offer your support and resources in any way deemed appropriate?
Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for the question. In fact, we have been in contact. I've been in contact daily with many of the CEOs and presidents of the company, and they've been very good at updating me on where they're at. Right now, again, their focus is on safety of their staff and safety of their property. And my office has continued to be an open line of conversation with them, and I've asked them if there's any stickling points along the way, please contact me.